of Waze Community's office hours. This month, we're going to be talking about all the changes coming to Waze traffic events. We've had a lot of excitement this year, and we're so excited to show you what's cooking. We're coming to you live from around the world today. I'm just wrapping up my fall meetup tour, so I'm in my hometown here in Chicago for Thanksgiving. And then we're also going to have live from HQ, Anat and Nadav, and Gil is joining us as well from sunny Florida because he's on his way to the Brazil Mega Meetup next week. So without further ado, it's my absolute pleasure to bring up Anat and Nadav and Gil and give them the stage so you guys can take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Brett. Hello, dear community. Thank you so much for joining today. We are really excited to be here today and speak about events. Today, will join us a part of the amazing events team. Here with us is Gil, product manager working on events from the WME side, Nadav, our UI UX product designer for events, and me working on crisis response and traffic events from the communities team. I would like also thank the many Waze staff that supported these initiatives and joined the call today. During 2024, we listened to you and your feedback during local and mega meetups, community calls, and throughout the Waze forum. And we will share with us, thank you for sharing with us your ideas. We always keep your input at the top of our mind when developing features, so please continue sharing it with us. In the next 40 minutes or so, we will cover exciting and upcoming changes to how Waze handles traffic events. The goal of these changes is to make it easier to add and manage events and for drivers to get the most up-to-date information for events. After events background and motivation presented by Gil, Nadav will share WME product mocks and plans, and I will share about how we communicate events to users, new process with the closures team, and education and guidelines resources. Gil, take it away.
Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me well? Because okay, cool. There's no indication here. So actually, it is sunny Florida, but I'm in the north of Florida. So it's pretty cool. I mean, cold right now. I had like 2 degrees at night and 4 degrees in the morning. Really awesome. I've never experienced Florida so nice and chilly, but it's awesome. So it's really awesome to be here. And I want to talk a bit about traffic events and what we have and what we plan to do. And as Anat mentioned, we took a lot of feedback from you guys to really drive us and set the motivation behind a lot of features that we are doing. And Nadav can also, I guess, testify on the fact that we had a lot of back and forth on what would be the best for the community, what would be the best way to do something that would be usable and easy to comprehend and use. So traffic events today basically are large-scale events. They change from big concerts that have road closures on them and impact traffic in a very major way, to big construction projects, and even, God forbid, crisis. If there's something really, really bad going on, we use them as huge traffic events so we can better group set of closures and large events together. As I mentioned, they do require closures, so that means that traffic events that is closureless, and we'll reach in the next slide, we'll talk about it, cannot be represented on the Waze map and cannot be then communicated to the drivers. We also noticed that traffic events are pretty complex to reuse. We had a lot of feedback from editors telling us that they sometimes have to do annual stuff that returns every year to recreate the event and all the closures that are associated to it, and also other events that repeat on a weekly, monthly, any kind of repetition, not necessarily a steady repetition, but the same event that happens every once in a while needs to be redone. And lastly, traffic events don't tell the whole story because there are areas that are impacted beyond the closures. If there's a closure on let's say on a ramp that goes from a highway, yes, the ramp is closed, but we can pretty much guarantee that this will be, impacting drivers that drive behind that ramp and not necessarily going out through that exit. So there's a whole impact area beyond the closures themselves. Next slide, please. So what we are doing for the traffic events, for the closureless traffic events, we understand that a lot of events are closureless. Again, games and concerts are very straightforward. I've been to a baseball game back in April. There was no closure, but I can guarantee you that there's a lot of traffic around the game. It was horrible to get out of it, to be honest. It took us almost an hour to leave the stadium area, and even when we left the main road, it was still packed with a lot of traffic, and it wasn't really represented on the Waze map because there's no way to put it there. And ideally, we think in ways that for the drivers, the experience of being able to tell them about these events is a very, very big thing to do, and a very big improvement to our product and to the experience of the drivers. For example, we can send them push notifications to alert them in advance about upcoming events in their area. We can specifically tailor it to whether or not we know that they're going to drive there during that event, and so on. Next slide, please. So yes, for us in Waze, we believe that we are really the best in class driving navigation app today, and we really want to maintain that. So traffic events are a big part of our efforts to maintain our position there. And we also want to, as part of the project, to have an easier way to create events. And that means that we want to allow duplication of previous events and creating the same event basically, and copy all the closures with it to the next event. We want to impact more drivers by having you guys telling us, hey, there's an event going on in that area, so we will be able to draw a polygon, and we will, and in these times, then we can alert the drivers who are going to drive in that area, in the impact area, during the event time, and tell them, hey guys, there's something coming. And as I mentioned as well, it's also to increase transparency. And also, so when drivers drive, we don't want to only tell them.
You might be stuck.
I think it, yeah.
Sorry, I'm stuck.
No, we're fine. We're back.
Okay, sorry. When did you lose me?
I think we lost them, so we're all good.
Okay.
I was with you the whole time, Gil.
Okay. So, okay, so transparency. Not just one of the things that we are also looking into is not just telling drivers that there's an event through a push, but think about driving through an area with high traffic that we are going to reroute them around it. We can give them more context. So we know about the traffic, right? We already reroute people around these areas in most cases because we see that there's heavy traffic or a jam and so on. But knowing that this jam is there because there's a Madonna concert or something like that is a very impactful thing. Hey guys, we are not sending you through this to the 405 because it's jammed, because Madonna decided to do her concert right in the center of the highway between the lanes. It's because so it's to give them the exact context about the reason behind us rerouting them around that area. Next slide, please. That will be it for me, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Gil, and thank you, Anat, and thank you, Brett. It's amazing to be here. This is such an amazing topic, and thank you for everyone in the community who joined us today on a Sunday. I'm always so excited to meet you guys. Really, this is amazing. So, as Anat said, I'm Nadav, and I'm a user experience designer here in Waze for the WME. And as a user experience designer, I always think about you guys, the community, the people that are using the tool, the WME, that we are designing for. And as Gil mentioned before, we are always looking to make the experience for you guys better, and to make the tool more usable and friendly, and to give you guys more so you can contribute more and give back more. So I'm very thankful to be here, and let's dive in to see all of the amazing things that we've been doing in Waze in the WME regarding traffic events. So before we're gonna actually start, let's just keep in mind that all of the mocks you're about to see are still in development and may not appear the same in production. So just bear that in your mind when you will see all of these mocks that I will share with you that are still work in progress and in development. So the first topic I want to cover today that we're doing in WME is how we can actually increase the impact and contribution of the community. So in a way, helping you help your community and giving you guys more tools to map traffic events in WME. So the full story could really go and come about and be revealed in the app, as Gil mentioned just a few slides before. So we're adding new abilities for traffic events in WME. The first ability I want to talk today that's gonna increase your contribution is actually adding Polygon-based events. So this new ability will empower you to share your local knowledge about how events actually impact traffic, even if they don't have any road closures attached to them. So you'll be able to outline the affected area directly on the map. So as Gil said, if let's say we have a Elton John concert, and by the way, this is just shows our real age here, talking about Madonna and Elton John. I mean, maybe we should have more current references, but let's say we have a Elton John concert and there are no real road closures because there is a venue for it and there are parking lots and nothing is really being closed. And we know that this venue, for example, also has a Madonna concert down the line, like 2 concerts a month or 3 concerts a month, and Coldplay concert, exactly, yeah. Thank you. And we want to show that to the drivers. So there are no real road closures, but we know that around an hour before the start of the show, it's really packed and it's really hard for drivers to get in and out of that area, and maybe an hour after the show. And this is actually affecting traffic. It's a traffic event, and we want to reflect that. So we want to give you guys the ability to map polygons and to add more info to the Waze map, even if the event has no road closures attached to it. And let's see a little bit of mocks and really discover how that happens. So as you can see here, we have a new event creation, and you can click on adding a road, and then you can draw a polygon on the map, just like you draw a polygon for any other objects like places or junction boxes, for example, in WME. And you're just mapping the area that you think is going to be impacted by the event that we're adding, let's say an Elton John concert. Then you save it, and that's it. You added a new type of event that is based on closures. It doesn't mean that you will not be able to add cities or just give us the general information of that area. I mean, you don't have to use this, but we actually recommend you to do so and to map polygons whenever you can, so we can have more accurate information to later on surface to the drivers in the app. So in a way, helping the community helps their communities and the cities and the areas that they're managing and mapping for. By the way, just something that we're planning to do here is, even though you're mapping an area, doesn't mean that you have to include all of your road closures in that specific area. You can still add road closures outside of the impacted area. But if you do know that some areas are going to be impacted, it's going to be amazing that you will share with us this information. I've seen some questions floating on the screen. Brett, do you want to maybe...
Oh, no, it's actually just ideas for the future. People are really happy, so keep on going.
I'm not a fast enough reader to read all of your comments.
No worries. If they have a question, I will interrupt you, so don't worry.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's amazing. So as I said, I'm a UX designer, also doing UI design, and it's really hard for me to talk about these features without talking a little bit about the design and behind the scenes. So actually, there is a new look for event form, as you can see, that we just seen in the mocks in the previous slide. So to the left, you will see the current experience, the current form design. And to the right, you can see that we've done a little bit of information architecture improvements here. So we brought up what we think will be most beneficial for us at Waze, so we can take in consideration all of the relevant data. So categories now first, for example. You can also see with the small stars all of the new things we added to the form. So an impact area, as I said, that we recommend you guys to add, and we hopefully you guys will use. And also we changed it start and end time to the traffic impact start and traffic impact end, as we really want you guys to tell us when the impact on traffic will start and end. And I know, Anat, you will talk about how this everything will be handled in the push and everything in just down the road of this presentation. But this is also something new that we're adding to the form. Also in the end of the form, you can see that we're asking you to give us some event descriptions. So you can give us that magical sauce of the community, like your local knowledge, the stuff that you know that other people don't know, that we need to know about the event, how it's affected traffic, why we should know about it, and all of this really amazing hyper local knowledge that you guys have and no one else has, that makes Waze so amazing. And last but not least, we added a lock level, so we will make sure that none of editors without the permission to contribute to this event will be able to change anything. So this is the first thing I wanted to show you guys today, how we can improve the impact and contribution of the community to traffic events and give you guys more tools to help your communities.
So
Brett,
before we move on, I've got a couple of questions in chat that I want to go over on what you just presented. So first
Please.
is on localization. Rafa was asking, why do we have to create the name with an English name? I don't think that's the case. I think you can choose your local language and then select which other languages you want for the translations.
Yeah, we have a translation option. You can see it on the right. Under the event description, you can add your translation and localizations information.
But it doesn't have to be in English. They can put the original event like in Spanish or whatever language is local.
Well, we English is required, and then
Okay.
the translation or localization, the local name, is mandatory, and the editors can edit or not according to their choice.
Got it. Then Drastic is asking, can we use this for normal planned road closures by the road management authorities, like the partners, or should this only be for events? Because if there isn't an event associated, like for example, they might just have like construction closures or something like that are planned. Can this be used for all different cases, or are we looking just at the types of like events like parades and things that we cover normally?
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. Basically, first of all, remember what we are adding is the ability to draw a polygon. The old events, the event mechanism we currently have, that you just define an event without any defined geometry and attach closures to it, is still available. So you can use the same mechanism as today. The difference is that we are adding the polygon that you can draw, and then you can still attach closures to an event with a polygon. So you can use it for planned closures, for unplanned closures, with closures, and without closures. That's the main difference here. So the answer is, of course, you can use it. Just use whatever is more appropriate for your specific use case.
Got it. And then our next question from Mika is, how big can the polygon be? So like they're talking about like some events that might be a few square kilometers or hundreds of kilometers, like Tour de France or something. I don't think
that's actually a great question. We're limiting the drawing of events in WME to 30 kilometers on 30 kilometers. So that's how big you can add the polygon to the map.
In theory, it's supposed to be 20 by 20, if my memory serves me right, but we can change it to any number. So if you guys need more, we can definitely accommodate that. It's just we had to put some limitations.
Cool. And then most of these seem like some feature requests here. I guess from Alex, he wants to say, it'd be nice to attach a place to the event, both to help navigation and give the system an idea of the epicenter of the traffic impact.
Sure.
Love it. I love this question. Gil also can take this one. I know that we're thinking about it, but Gil, do you want to?
We're more than thinking about it. It's basically the next phase after the event's duplication, to be able to attach places. It's also for crisis. It can be used.
Right.
It's really important for us to add it.
I'm
And I don't know
seeing-
if this is the place, but maybe we can. I want to encourage the community to tell us, like, how can we use places with events, and just let us know so we can take into consideration your thoughts here and your ideas. And I know it's really important for us to hear you guys out.
I suggest that Nadav will open another email with suggestions for Nadav, and then everyone can send him their vision.
Well,
And
do
then
you
we can use Gemini to combine all the visions together into one product.
I think for this one, we are going to, or actually, Anat has her post on the forum announcing
Yeah.
some of the changes, so we can continue the conversation
Yeah.
there. I know you did cover also, Nadav, the lock level. That's able to be set by the editors themselves, whoever's creating the event sets the lock level for that event, right?
Yep.
And then I'm getting more localization questions here from ABC. Can they add more characters to the name? Like it's not supporting special characters at the moment.
I saw this request actually. Maya flagged me on one of the spreadsheets. I'm checking with the engineers. I don't see a reason why we can't increase it. It was a decision that was, we had to put some limits. If there's a requirement for more, then we'll look into it. It's already we're checking on this.
It was a legacy limitation that we had on the product side, but it was changed.
There's also, I'm going to have one last question here, and then we'll move on to the next section. And this is on the Polygon. Can the Polygon, this is a crisis question, so maybe you might know, can the Polygon be circular in the event of an evacuation order, so that like it would like have like the coordinates and then like create a circular polygon around that, maybe?
So interesting, actually.
Yeah.
We're not allowing that now in WME. We actually had discussions about it behind the scenes, like how we should do the Polygon-based feature. And I think that we're allowing you guys more freedom when we're letting you freeform and just draw on the map the real shape and size of the polygon. Because think about it, when you're doing like a radius, sometimes let's say you have like stuff going up on the map to that area, so other areas are not really relevant are also being attached to it, and we really want you guys to be as precise as you can and not limit you with like any predefined geometries.
Although
Gil,
I like the suggestion that to add it, we can add it as an additional option, not to replace the current polygon drawing, but to start with a circle if people think it's really useful. But again, it's a development, and like anything in our life, it comes at the expense of something else. So if you think it's really important, use your voice, let us know, and we will prioritize it accordingly. You are our sensors into knowing, how to prioritize things in many ways.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you all for your patience, for the questions from the chat.
I want to add just one more thing, because I've been reading a bit through the comments as well. Just one more thing is important. Asked if it's bigger, if we can. So the question is, what if it is bigger? Will we have to create two polygons? Two polygons are currently not supported, but we do plan to support multiple polygons at a later stage. The system is designed to support it. We just had to limit it for the time being.
And also, by the way, I didn't mention it, but we're planning to allow you guys to add coordinates as well. Instead of drawing, you will be able to add the polygon coordinate directly to WME, and then it will auto draw it on the map. So that's another thing. It's I didn't mention we're planning to do.
If you have a polygon from a different source in different format, like WKT or GeoJSON, anything, we have a few formats supported. You can just paste it, and it will just create a polygon, so you don't have to draw it manually. Good point. Thank you, Nadav, for mentioning.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So Nadav, why don't you take us to the next section?
This is so interesting. We can talk about this for hours, like literally. So thank you for your questions. I want to cover just a few more things that we're now adding to the WME. And the next topic is actually how we can improve the event management and operation for editors in WME. Again, helping you guys help your communities, which is the most important thing for us. And we're talking about new abilities that we're adding to WME. Now, I want to talk about how we're going to allow you guys to search and duplicate events. And this new ability will help you with creating and managing the events lists in WME. As Gil mentioned in the beginning, There are some events that we know are reoccurring every year or so, and this is a very big pain point for you guys to recreate all of these events. We're trying to solve this pain point for you, and this is one of the abilities that we will allow, hopefully, in the future for traffic events, the ability to duplicate. But before we're going to dive into duplication, let's see how you can actually search events. So we have a new filter now on the header of the event tab, just like issue tracker, by the way, that will allow you to filter events by location and words in the event's name, also by category, and also you could add a time frame to it, and also if it was created by you or not. We will have default settings, just the same as we have today, which is all categories in the map area and in the next 30 days. But you can change it, as you can see here in the mug that I've added. It's really nice because we will allow you guys to search up to 2 years of events in the past. So we don't have that data right now, but we will start to collect it. And then you will be able to put in a time range, let's say for a year ago. So as Gil said, let's say there is a soccer game or some other event that is
Mardi Gras, that's Sketch's
Mardi
favorite.
Gras.
Yeah,
or Tour de France, or like all of these big events with a lot of closures. You will be able to search for them and then locate them easily. But it doesn't mean that you have to only search for past events. It could also benefit if you're looking to see all of the events that you're working on right now in the current days, or stuff in the future. So it will give you like a full range of abilities when it comes to search and looking for events in WME.
I've got a question on the search here. How far back is it going to go from, like, before this feature is released? Is it searching all events in the database, or is it going to start at a specific date?
Gil, do you want to take this?
Yeah. So first of all, as Nadav mentioned, we will look up to 2 years in the past, but obviously we haven't collected the last 2 years. We did start to retain events already. So once the feature will be released, you'll have some data back, at least a few months. So hopefully it will be helpful from the first day.
Yeah, so this is the first thing that we will allow you guys to do, is the search in event. And as I said, as a UX designer, let's talk a little bit about the design. So new look also for event card, not only for the events form. And we actually posted all of these changes in the event form. Thank you, Anat, for doing so. And giving us all the feedback. And thank you guys for letting us know what you think. Again, this is so helpful. Like once we're moving on and we're looking at all of these designs, your input is very valuable for us. So thank you for that. And we're actually reduced the empty statuses from 4 into 2. So it used to be like draft and pending and ready and published. And we've seen that it wasn't so clear, like what is ready? Is it already being surfaced in some areas in Waze? Is only published being surfed and posted to Waze? Is routing taking in consideration ready statuses? Pending, is it saved? Is it unsaved? And a lot of confusion. So now we're just going to have 2 statuses. Draft, meaning it's still work in progress. Doesn't matter if you saved it or not, it's called draft. And we have posted, meaning that you've done work working on it, you submit it to Waze, and that's it. It's been surfaced in the events Waze events page, and it's been taken into consideration for routing and driving, etc. And if we have more information to give you, it will appear under the headline. So if it's unsaved, you will see it as a draft unsaved. And if it's been pushed, it will be posted with additional information of push, and hopefully in the future, we will also be able to give you the push time. Yeah, I know you guys are waiting for. Yeah, you guys are waiting for this, and I think that this is this whole overall changes will help you guys in the management and creation of events. Let's go forward to duplicating events. So this is another ability we're now working on to allow in WME, and you will be able to go in any event and hit duplicate, and it will be pre-populated with all of the data. You can choose to include the road closures and to give the event a new time frame and then save it. By the way, we are working on adding a magic shifter for the closures, meaning that Once we have a new dates for the event, all of the closures attached to it will shift and be modified according to the new time frame that you guys provided. So you will be able to duplicate the event and all of the closures within it, and then go ahead and edit it. And once you're duplicating the closures, any questions here? Sorry.
I want to say that the magic shifter will also shift time. If the event shifts with 1 hour, then all the closures will shift 1 hour as well in relative to the event time.
Yeah, thanks, Gil. That's true. So as you can see here, there's a list of closures that already been modified with that logic that Gil just described of new time and new date. And then you will need to go ahead and verify them. So you can choose to verify them from the card or from the closure form, or you can verify them all in one click, and then they will be added to that event as verified events, active or not started, with the new status of whatever it is that the new timing. And you can also change and modify them. So basically, that's all I wanted to share with you guys today about the changes. And if I recap, I know there might be some questions. We talked about letting you guys contribute more with new type of events, Polygon-based events now, and also allowing you guys to have a better experience with search tool and duplication of closures.
So I do have a question from the chat. Is this also going to be available for Waze partners as well, or just for editors?
Should be available to everyone that has access to the events.
Yeah.
Right. And then we have a couple here as well. So from Necron, what happens if the road was changed? Does it tell you if the segment didn't apply the closure due to a change?
Yeah.
Yes, you don't see that flow here, but we are taking in consideration failures. So let's say the road was deleted or merged, and we lost all of the data, including all of the closures attached to that road segment in WME. Then we will know that it was failed due to that reason, and we're working on a solution to let you locate it and maybe do something about it. You don't see it in the mocks; it's a little bit more advanced, but yes, we are taking in consideration edge cases like that.
I would also like to add to this, because there's another related question by ABC1357 about the verify. So when you duplicate an event and you duplicate the closures are not automatically added to the map, because we don't know if all of them still apply, if they look good. And in addition, many of them can fail for multiple reasons. For example, there could be closures already defined on this segment that overlap the closure time that you wish to copy, so you can't create the closure. Segments can be merged or split or deleted, and so on. So we are going to create a mechanism that will allow you to go over the closures suggestions to either verify them, verify all if you just know it's okay, and if it's a small list, you can just say verify all. And of course, if it's a very large list, you might just want to say verify all, because nobody's going to go through hundreds of closures one by one. And we're also grouping them, by the way, like from the closures group right now. So if a lot of closures have a lot of commonality between them, like name and direction and time and so on, you will see a very nice stacked card with Nadav design that shows you that this is a closures group, and you can see the geometry of all the segments, and then just click to confirm it, essentially. Before confirming, you can also... Sorry, Nadav, yeah?
You can see it in the mock, actually.
Okay.
What Gil is talking about, the first one, not here, but the first one with the blue text fill says like, see show for closures, meaning this is a group with 4 more closures in it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you open the closures to... Okay.
We don't see it in the mock, but as we don't have... Yeah, we can talk for about hours about everything we're doing, but I just wanted to show the reference what you're talking about in the screen.
There's a couple more questions here I want to take before we move on. The first one here is on lock level. So will the closures always be locked to the same level as the event, or will the time still shift if a closure is locked above the editor's level? Like on the slider, if they decide if there's a closure that's locked to a level higher than the editor, and the editor
So,
changes the event.
we can actually give an example. Let's say an L4 editor is duplicating a closure that is
I
locked
think
to
we lost Gil
L4.
there for a minute.
Sorry?
Oh, now we have you.
Okay. So if you have an event that is locked to level 4 that has let's say that it has a few segments that are locked to level 5 with closures on them, and you might not have a permission to close these segments. So what you'll have is that you'll be able to verify after duplicating all the closures that you're allowed to create. The last two, let's say, closures that you cannot verify, then someone else can come to the same event and just verify the last two closures, and then we're good to go. This queue is not just visible to you, it's visible to everyone. It's basically a suggestion list of closures for this event. I hope this answers the question.
Got it. And then next up, how about allowing to add closures to changed segments, like merged or those that were split? Can you regain the info and then map it to the new segments that you've created?
Not yet. We discussed this a lot. It's not very, I mean, in theory, it sounds simple. I said, what's the problem? Just look on the geometry and just, fix it. But it's a lot more complicated than it seems. Not just complicated to do, but complicated also to, a lot of the complexities are not even on the engineering side. There are on the UX side to create something that is easy to understand and to touch all these edge cases. This is actually, I think, most of the time that we spend is not on the algorithms in the back. It's how do we make this understood and not too complicated and tangled interface.
There's a lot of context switching when we're talking about events and closures and creating of events and creating of closures, and from the user experience point of view. And when we're talking about flows, we can go into like a tunnel of endless flows of like repairing everything. And then to the point where we actually forgot where we started, and then going back to that, starting point of only verifying or duplicating the event. We already went so far down the line that it was hard for us to go back. It's a little bit complex, as Gil said, from the UX point of view, but we are working on it, and hopefully we will be able to provide all of the solutions.
So it looks like, Gil, you were understood. They need is the same retention of merge split onto segment info history. That's something that's a general feedback regardless. Okay, great. The rest of these I think we'll leave for the Q&A later, because I know Anat has more to show us.
Yeah.
So
Thank
you
you,
take it.
Right, that's true. Thank you so much, Nadav.
Thank you.
What a fantastic presentation. And I'm super excited about the upcoming releases and the fact that you keep our community always at the top of your mind. Thank you so much. Now I will share with you what user communication channels we use to communicate events to drivers. So one of the most important and known channels is the event push notification and the landing page. The landing page is the page that opens when you click on the push notification that you see here on the left. As most of you know, this is how the previous landing page looked like. And we found the experience was not engaging enough, and we wanted to give it a new look and feel, and also to add more helpful information to drivers on that page. So this summer, we've been experimenting with the new landing page. After running some successful tests with the global pride parades, the Tour de France, and the Olympics that were in Paris, we saw an increase in user engagement when they interacted with the new landing page. So we are super excited, and I also posted that on the Waze forum, that the new landing page experience is live for all traffic events in the world. So we've redesigned the page and make it more user-friendly and more informative. So what did we add? The new design aims to make the page more valuable to drivers, even when they navigate to unfamiliar routes. So we added a few new buttons. We have the share. Now you can easily share more intuitively the page with your community. We have find a route. At the moment, it leads to the new trip planning in the live map. website, but we're planning to change it to lead to the planning screen in the app itself. The website, if the website event was added in the WME, it means if you added it, so the button will lead to the official website, which is super cool. In the description, which also Nadav mentioned, at the moment it's a default text, but we plan to have your input once it's going to be in WME. We will plan to take your input and put it on the page to give the extra sauce in the landing page. We also optimize the push notifications backend logic. So previously, the push notifications were sent only to drivers that frequently drove on the closed segments in the past 40 days. So it was completely segment-based audience. Now we added also saved places in the area of the closures. And if you drove in the saved places in the past 40 days, you will also get the push notification. Additionally, what we did is that we changed the timing of the push notification to be sent as the event starts, based on the first closure, to align to real-life nature and the new events landing page. We heard your feedback about the saved places. If you, in any case, get a wrong push notification on a place that you would not like to get a push, please share with us on the Waze form or email that directly to me, and I will make sure to take care of that. All of these changes are only the beginning. As you know, we're always looking for ways to make sure that you get the relevant information at the right time. This is why we're exploring a new approach of timing of the notifications of the traffic events. So currently, as I just mentioned, you receive the push notification as the first closure starts, regardless of the event type. But we think we can do better, and we think we can configure it by the event type. So we are considering to adjust these notifications based on the event category that you implement in the WME. It means that you will get a notification about concert much earlier than, like, for example, a crisis event. So this is, I posted last week on the Waze forum, so please share with us what you think we should do and when we should schedule these push notifications for the event categories. This is a new cool feature that was launched a few months ago. I don't know if someone saw it in real time. Now, when users are about to start the drive, in case the regular route is affected by road closures, Waze will present this pop-up that you see here on the screen and explain that the road closures are affecting their regular route, and we cannot provide them the regular route. This is an important insight to drivers that helps them to understand why we picked a specific route that maybe not will be the regular route, and we are sure that we have real-time data to help them to make the best decision for the route. Now, updates about upcoming process with the Waze closures team. We are making a more proactive approach with the Waze closures operations team. We are working to implement a new process to support you in creating and managing traffic events. So the process aims to increase the volume of traffic events that are added to Waze, supporting you, local communities, in implementing efforts, and ensuring that we implement, in case the Waze closures team will implement the data, that they implement the accurate data and traffic event information. So the new process flow with the Waze closures team will start with them sourcing and forecasting upcoming events. Then they will gather the data and create the MTEs. They will share all the details with community POCs via email to get your confirmation of the plan. And finally, the decision will be yours. You will decide whether you want to implement all the data by yourself, or you would like just to confirm that all the data was gathered correctly, and the Waze closures team will implement information. Don't worry, I will share with you everything on the Waze form, so stay tuned on that. And last but not least, in 2024, we invested a lot in education and guidelines, and we plan to do it even more in 2025. We provide education guidelines to help you learn about events, about new features and processes. In the event white paper and the Wikipedia, you can find in-depth guide explaining the ins and outs of events at Waze. The new e-learning course that was launched with the amazing Academy team a few months ago is an interactive course. It's a really, really cool course that teaching how to create and manage events effectively. And in the Waze forum, all of you familiar with the forum, we keep a dedicated space for discussions, sharing releases, and get your feedback on events. I would like to take this opportunity and thank to all community members that take the time and share with us the valuable feedback. Always, all of the feedback is gathered and shared with the internal team so they can take it under consideration when developing new features or fixing existing ones. So all of these resources that I just mentioned are free and accessible to all of your community members. So I encourage you to use it. This is us for today. Thank you so much, Nadav and Gil, for a fantastic presentation. I would invite you, dear community, to start adding and managing events with new and hopefully future existing features, and also stay up to date. Actively participate in the Waze discussions, share your feedback, what you think should be the best solution. And thank you so much for making Waze the most reliable routing app.
Thank you guys. So we have a ton of questions both in the chat and like at least a dozen in the Q&A portal. So I'm going to just jump right in here, starting with the ones from the chat. So a question that came up, Anat, when you first started, the push notification timing, what happens with the push notification if the event already started before adding the MTE closures? Can they adjust the time for the notification to be sent?
This is a great question. So the backend logic is if the event is published when the closure has already started, the event will be sent out 30 minutes after the event was published. So the push will be sent out. It's just the first closure won't be taken under consideration from that point.
And then here's a routing question for the audience. What about a notification for those outside of the mentioned audience of like the pre-saved routes or places, but who are driving into or to the event area? If they're going to cross the Polygon, are they also going to get a notification before starting their trip? I mean, it would be if it was a planned drive. That's already part of the logic.
Gil, would you like?
I'm reading this.
Oh,
Can you please put the quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's something mentioned earlier, driving through.
It's sort of how this would work with the current evacuation system, I'm guessing.
For the evacuation system?
Well,
I'm
like
not sure. So basically, if we know that you're going to drive into that, so are you talking about push notification right now or about any kind of notification?
I think we're talking about the push.
Push is based on historical drives. So if someone is driving through the area, if we think they're going to drive through this area, and because they drove there in a day and time that matches the area and the day and time, to my understanding, I see that I get some faces from. No. I hope I'm not making. That's what I know. So let me know if I'm mistaken.
Yeah. I think, but if you can put the question back, I think the question is more like about like maybe if the destination is within the area of the closures. So we don't take it under consideration that like the in routing, but I think it's a really, really good idea, and I will take this feedback with the routing team.
And regardless, I mean, the user is going to see the event in trip overview anyways before they initiate their drive, right? Because
that's true. Yeah, if the closures will affect their like the route, yes.
Right. Cool. Let's take a look at the chat again, just to make sure we're not missing anything. Here's the perennial question. How is it going to work with in-car apps? Will they have visualization in the polygons the same way that they're seeing in the Waze app, or?
We don't see the polygon itself as we drive. We're supposed to see the polygon in some extent with the trip overview, as far as I know, in some cases. But I don't know how it will look in-car. It should work.
Cool. And then, here's an interesting one. how many local translations can be given to an event and they're asking for multi-language countries? Like how many different localizations can we support per event?
For now, just one. But we can consider maybe more if we'll see that we need more than one. For now, we're in the designs and mocks that we shared today. It's one.
So bad news for Belgium and Switzerland, but we'll try to get you guys supported. Let's see. So a question about levels. If they create an event at level 2, but then someone unlocks it, but they have permissions to add an RTC to level 5 roads, will they be able to edit the event or will they be locked out?
Okay, so let's do levels for a second. First of all, I think you cannot set an event to L2 if the country has a minimum rank of level 3, for example. There's a minimum rank per country. What you can do is say that this event is more critical or impacts more than specific levels to or again, any level that is higher. All it means, the polygons, and actually Silvio texted me in parallel because I guess I wasn't too clear about that. When you create the polygon, you don't create closures under the polygon. You simply tell us the impact area and the impact time of that area. Closures are added independently, and closures need the same permission as current closures. So if you cannot close a freeway, you cannot close a freeway. You can create polygon that will create alerts on that freeway in theory, but you cannot close the segments under it just like that. So it's two separate permission systems, one for events, one for closures. And when you duplicate an event, for example, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a closure on a segment that you do not have the permission to save it on, then you cannot save that specific closure. Someone else can chime in and save it for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Gil. So we only have like 9 minutes left, 8 minutes. Clock is ticking. Let's jump into our Q&A. Nir, can you give us the first question, please? John, will there be a way to choose if you don't want traffic event notifications for your saved places or even save a specific saved place? I might have a saved place in another city or state, but I don't really need a traffic event notification for something happening in that other city or state.
I will take it if that's okay. I took this feedback with the product team. They know that this is a request to configure the notifications for also for safe places. So this is on the table, and once I have any update, I will let it you.
Awesome. Thanks, Anat. Next up, from Gary, it's been asked before, but when will MTE titles allow for more characters? Maybe at least 10 to 20.
We're looking into it.
Good. Next, from ABC, can we sort the MTE list? It appears to be in be random in the list. Random.
Not random. You just don't control it, but it's not random. But Nadav can.
Yeah. Well, it's not random. Actually, we have a system, so it's alphabetically. It's from the center of the B box that you're seeing. So it means that it's what you see on the map, and then goes farther away, and then it's from A to Z, and then we're doing it by I think time range. We did think about
providing his follow-up. He asked him, can he sort it by date? So yes, they will be able to.
I mean, we're not allowing now the users to apply filters on the list, but we do want to, and this feedback is taken into consideration, and we'll see how we can move forward with it for sure.
Yeah, but the sort is deterministic, so it's not random. The first thing you'll see on the list is the one closest to the center of your screen.
Got it. All right, moving right along. Anonymous question. Oh, but it isn't. It's from KStore. Okay, so when will drivers get an alert at the start of its trip if the trip is set to either a traffic event area, even if the event did not start yet, but is due to start before the driver arrives in the event area? So this is more on like the start time for when the push notification is triggered.
Not sure that I exactly understood the specific use case, but what we will do is that we will configure the push notifications based on the event category. So it means that we will have like a specific set of rules for concerts, specific rules for crisis. So for crisis, because it's unplanned event, so the users will get notification very close to the event.
I think this is tied to a currently known limitation that we have for future planned closures that sometimes aren't calculated into routing. So I'm not sure that this is something that we can support because of the way that the system is set up. If it's not factoring in the closures that haven't started in yet at the beginning of your route, then you wouldn't be getting a notification for it regardless.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
this is true. As
All right.
for event notification, it's based on your past drives.
Cool. Moving right along, who's next, Near? From Andre, will it be possible to import the Polygon from a wiki or KML? Yeah, we already covered that. Yes. So I think you said for phase 2, you're going to make it available. They can.
Yeah.
One,
It's actually the first phase, as far as I know. So
Amazing.
the moment we can have a polygon, that's when you can paste your stuff away.
Amazing.
And by the way, after you put the polygon in, you will see it, and you can then visually edit it, right? So you don't have to paste something else. You can do whatever you want with that.
Awesome. Next up, another from John. And yes, so can the Polygon be changed once it's published? I think, Gil, you just confirmed that.
Yes.
Awesome.
But bear in mind that if you change it after the the audience for the push was already calculated, then it might not impact what you think it would do. We hope to get more transparency on when you cross that threshold, but in a nutshell, don't do it too close to the event if you want it to impact stuff. So do it early on if you want to edit it.
Cool. Next
Anat
up.
wants to say something. I see her.
Yes, I want to say, how do you know, Gil? Yeah, you feel me. This is crazy. I just want, because we didn't speak about it. Like the audience for the Polygon-based events will be the Polygon. So at the moment for road closures, it's like the road closures, and for the Polygon, it will be the Polygon. So this is just something that we didn't cover. Thank you, Gil.
Noted. Thank you for the edit explanation. Next up from Marcel. Will it be possible to add more categories in the future? We often have bomb disposals in Germany. This category would be very helpful. I don't know if that's an event, though. That's more of a crisis.
It's we have like we at the moment I know that you categorize these events as either crisis or other. This is a very localized example. We can take it offline and think about what we can do, but this is a very localized example.
Fair enough. Next up, got 2 minutes left. I think it's time for like 4 more. From Jorge, if I understand correctly, users will be notified if their routes pass through the Polygon. If the greater impact of the event is much greater than expected, can users with routes outside the Polygon be notified in the app? I think that this is up to you as the editor to draw the polygon of the impact area. It might not be just the closures. This is actually something we saw during the tests this summer with the Pride parades, the one in New York City specifically. The closures were very limited to just the area of the parade, but the actual impact was like half of Manhattan. So we ended up expanding the polygon while just leaving the closures. And what's cool about the visualization on Live Map is that drivers are basically going to get both. They're going to see the polygon of the traffic impact zone and then the closures on the segments as well, so they can see exactly what's closed on that. Anat, did you have anything else to add on that?
No, that's perfect.
Awesome. Next up, 1 minute left from Ahmad. Unlike our cousin Google Maps, Waze closures do not. I think we're now brothers. I don't know how that works, Gil. Maybe you can opine on that.
Let's say adopted twins.
Sure.
But not twins.
Irish twins. So Waze closures do not inform Wazers on how long the closures last in the client app. I usually resort to placing the closure info, the known end and date and time in the description. Can we have a known closure end, date, time displayed together as a feature?
That's a question for the surfacing, so I'm not sure I'm equipped to answer it. Not sure we have the maybe Anat can answer it, but no.
We can just like take it with the surfacing team as a like
Yeah.
a feature.
This is a feature request for us to bring up.
Yeah.
One more and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From ABC. In my area, they say the roads are closed up to 2 hours after the event is over. So we really cannot put closures as we don't know when the event is over. Can we show traffic indication even if there are no closures? Well, I think that's sort of the point of having the closure-less events is to
Yeah, with the polygon. That's the whole purpose of the polygon.
Right.
No, but I think there's another thing here. If there are closures and they just expire in a non-deterministic time period, why not just allow the automatic open of closures? I mean, you can just set them up in a way that they will auto expire once people start to drive in them, and then you just set them to 2 hours after the event, and then at some point they just auto expire as we see drives. I think it's outside the scope of traffic events, or at least for this part of traffic events.
I think that it also serves the need from the other direction. Like one of the things that we were looking at when we first started exploring this last year were like a parade that has closures by police discretion, where basically like the police are following the parade and just closing the road right before the parade.
It's a rolling closure, essentially.
Exactly. And like we can't predict those, but then drawing the polygon allows drivers to see the whole impact. So it doesn't really matter.
We don't know when the game ends. That's only true for baseball. For real sports, you know when the game ends. Just I'm kidding. But yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I also want to comment on one thing.
Gil, we're kind of losing you. Oh, now we got you.
So, no. I'm still offline. That's how we do it, Brett. We don't commit. Actually, we have Starlink here. I'm in the middle of a forest. Wasn't really planned to be here, but never mind. First, I don't want to give timelines, but the first phase for us, which is the polygons, and without basically everything you saw without the duplication of events, is coming up really soon. We pretty much, our side is pretty much done. We're just waiting for other teams to finish their side. Their side, we can say soon, soon for this. The next phase is soonish. It's too early to commit on a soon, but it's in the works. So it's not something that is theoretical. It's not something that we might want to address at some point. It's something that we are actively developing. So it should also be pretty soon. Yeah,
Perfect.
In between. Yeah.
Anat, Nadav, any final words?
Just thank you for the community. That's so awesome, really.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing the feedback. It's so valuable. It's just thank you. And I really enjoyed like sharing everything, and I'm so happy that it happened. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Amazing. So Gil, Anat, Nadav, thank you all for joining. I'd like to thank our audience for joining us once again. It was so great to be with you guys every month. It's so much fun, and we love sharing the stuff with you. To those celebrating, happy Thanksgiving this week in the US. And to those traveling, have fun in Brazil at the Brazil Mega Meetup. We will be back with you all on December 15th for our annual kickoff with a special surprise where the whole team is going to humiliate ourselves for you on camera. So you get to enjoy that as your holiday present. And with that, thank you all once again. This has been an awesome episode. And we will, if you have any questions, you can post them in the events post that Anat put on the forum a week or two ago. I put that also in the chat earlier, so you have the link to it. And we'll see you all on December 15th. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Peace. Bye.